I'm going to introduce our next speaker here, who is Mark Simmons. He builds leaders in business and life throughout his company, Bluprint Concepts. He holds that his clients are not broken and don't need fixing. They know what they need. Mark's skill is getting that out of each client. He works with realtors, accountants, entrepreneurs, business partners, and yes, even married partners. He helps them move from chaos and conflict to opportunity. When is the right time to see what Mark can do for you? The time is right now. There you go. There we go. Take it away, Mark. All right.
Thank you, Kevin. So, my goal today is to take some stress off all of your shoulders. As far as the business that you do, or maybe in your personal lives, but in some way, shape, or form, take some stress off your shoulders in the beginning, and in the end, tell you a little bit more about what it is that I did. So today we're talking about creating your intentional impact. So according to the Arbinger Institute, we all sit in one or more places in a box, this box. Some of us sit in a less than box where I'm not good enough, or I don't know how to do it, or there's somebody smarter than me that knows how, right? Or there's the better than box, right? Of course I'm amazing. That's the better than box. You need me because I'm so amazing. The I deserve box, and a lot of what's going on today in society with kids is they're in this place of I deserve it. Right? And there's this must be seen place in the box, and that's a place where we all know these people when they sit in a meeting and they talk the loudest. They're the loudest on a cell phone because they want you to know who they're talking to. And they have a reason for needing to be seen. We actually all have reasons for needing to be in these places. And the truth is, what we do is we bounce around inside the box. The challenge is it's really, really, really limiting for us, bouncing around inside this box. So what do you think the thing to do would be to solve this? Pretty straightforward. Get out of the box, right? And it's really, really challenging because we tell ourselves stories about why we need to be in this box. It's a very limiting space. So what I want to point out today is one very small piece of a puzzle that you can take away today and go use on your own. And what we're going to talk about is the impact slide is gone. So much for impact. It's supposed to be here. It's going to say impact. So imagine that it's there. All right. So on your table is a piece of paper that looks like this. Everybody grab it. It says outcome and impact. And at the top of the page is 10 spaces, right? And what we're going to talk about is goals and outcomes. How many of you have goals and outcomes for your business? If you're a business owner, we're going to focus on you as a business owner or entrepreneur. You need to always be really clear on your outcomes and your goals for your business. So write them down. Just take a few seconds now to write down some of your goals for your business. And there's going to be a financial piece for sure. Part of the outcomes might be you want to take vacations. You want expansion, growth, whatever it is, partnerships. Write down some of those goals. It's really important to know them. All right. And here's something really important to know about your goals and outcomes. Is not to be tied to them. That's the limiting piece that brings us stress. We focus so much on what our goals are for our business, what our goals are for our life, that they push us back into that box. They make us feel small. We may have failed at something because we didn't achieve this goal or something. It's still important to know them and not be tied to them. This is what happens when you're tied to your outcomes. Poor Wiley here has always been tied to his outcomes, chasing the roadrunner. It never works out for the poor guy, right? Luckily for the roadrunner. Yet you need to always be aware of these things. There's the impact slide. Now we got screwed around. It's back. So creating impact, right? So now we're going to focus on impact. So what I want you to do is on the page, there's a dotted line. Fold it on the dotted line so you're not looking at your goals or your outcomes anymore. You have them. They're still there. We're not going to focus on them anymore. What we're focusing on is impact. So what we look at is what is the impact that you want to create in your life on something. So if we're looking at you as business owners, as entrepreneurs, is what is the impact you want to create for you as a business owner. Now I warn you, there's two kinds of impact. There's intended impact, and there's unintended impact. And I'll explain what unintended impact is. And some of you who know me know I've said this before. I think I am the funniest person on the face of the earth. I really do. In my own mind, I am very funny and you're all going to laugh at me. And my intended impact is I'm going to crack jokes and you're all going to laugh. And a month ago, I was doing training here in another room for 25 people, a training I've done many, many times. And I've always nailed it before. And my intended impact was to still be funny. And for 4 hours, I got stared at like I didn't really exist or something. People were moving their heads sideways and squinting at me, and I don't know what was going on. My intended impact was to be funny. My unintended impact was I lost them. Okay? So there's a need to always be aware of what your impact is, and what we're going to focus on is creating your intended impact, specifically today for you as a business owner. So here's the truth. When you come from a place of intended impact, and you know what your impact is, so you have to pre-plan this, you're able to focus less on the goal and the outcomes, which creates stronger connection. It opens up a lot of clarity for you, and it really opens up creativity. Who doesn't think they're creative? Put up your hand if you think you're not creative. Oh, perfect, because I would argue that point. Everybody is creative, and there's a need to be creative in your own way. Okay? The result really is business success. The result also is you've let go of the stress of having to focus so much on the goal, so much on the outcomes. So the second part of this exercise is, I want you to think about what is the intended impact you want to make in your business. Think about that. It's almost like setting intention. And you're going to think of 5 words that truly land with you as a place of impact. So I'm going to share with you what I set up for me today as my intended impact. Confidence was one of them. Put up your hand if you feel, I feel confident. Okay? I don't lie about this, like don't look at it if it's not true. Am I funny? A little bit? Right, yeah. Am I evoking thought? Are you thinking about what I'm talking about? Hold up your hand. Is it a little bit fun? Fun at all? A little bit? Right. And do you feel that I actually have a passion for what I do? My intended impact is that for today. That's what I create. It's not, I hope to fail. It's not, my intended impact is you're all going to sign up with me and do business with me. Right? That's an outcome. Perhaps. It can be an outcome. But these are all places I want to come from. So when I stand on this stage and I come from these places, I know those outcomes are going to happen. They're going to happen just naturally by where you come from. So, looking at the time, write down your 5 words. Be real about this, because you get to take this away with you today. What are 5 places of outcome that you want to come from in your business? Write them down. And a way to think about this is, when you walk away from the person you're talking to, what is it you want them to say about you? And be careful that you're not pointing towards being in the box. Being in the box would be, I want them to say I'm really smart. That's a box play. Even expert, what does expert mean? Right? So there are areas deeper than that. What's the time? Does anybody have a few words at least for impact? Yeah, does anybody want to share one or two or three? Start off with the impact I want to create is. The impact I create is, not I want to. This is what you do. The impact I create is. So Sage, you want to finish up? No?
Be genuine and supportive.
Great. Basil?
Education.
So when you go into a place in your business, and you go into a business meeting knowing ahead of time, I'm going in here coming from a place of collaboration, of support, of education. You're going to show up way different knowing this ahead of time, as opposed to focusing on the goal of, oh, I need to land this client. This is my goal. That's pressure, that's stress. So I really encourage you all to look at, for your, how you show up, how you want to show up. And this isn't the thing of how I want to show up is, it's how I will show up. The impact I create is. I want to, it's what it really will be. And it's topical, so you have for your business as an entrepreneur, in your relationships. If you're a parent, how you show up as a parent. I have one with my kids, I have 5 kids. Sometimes it's really hard to stick to those places of impact, right? So there's a lot of unintentional impact in there, yet it's really, really a powerful place to check in at. So I really encourage you all to do that. If there's a takeaway from my 15 minutes, it's one thing to talk about this, it's another thing to take action and do it. And I really encourage you all to do something with this. This little piece, by creating this, going into your next meeting, is going to change everything for you. I promise it. I guarantee it. So I really encourage you to do that. So, thoughts, comments, don't be afraid. And I don't read through people, I don't analyze people. So.
I was wondering, like, when you're in a meeting with someone, like just as a participant, and they don't have an income, they don't have an impact, what does it look like? Like, what are the signs they have in the journal?
A lot of people really like to tell you how smart they are. And their goal is to come into a place and tell you how smart they are and why you need to work with me or why you need them. So it's understanding that that's where they're coming from. There's a piece of this. So this is a very small piece. This is actually a 4-hour kind of workshop to get all those pieces. And it's understanding that the person across from you may not have this little nugget. So there's a piece about being gentle with them and understanding that when you're coming from your place of impact that you've created ahead of time, intentional impact, you can guide and lead that particular meeting.
Can you explain what coactive coach means, like what that process is?
So coactive is a methodology. And in true coaching, there's a lot of people who wake up in the morning and say, hey, guess what, good morning, I'm a coach, and go and try to coach people and ruin their lives, because what they're doing is giving a lot of advice. True coaching will never give advice, right? The coactive approach is really a piece of being and doing, where I talked earlier about it's one thing to know, it's another thing to do. Take action, that's a being and doing. And coactive coaching is bringing all those pieces into the meeting, working with people, working with clients. And it's deepening the learning and forwarding the actions. We're always moving people forward. So that's the methodology behind coactive. Good question. Cool. Thank you.